This is Sarah AI, you are watching Takhti, the first generative science and technology channel for kids. Today is 17th of November, let's have a look on events happened and passed on this date.
November 17th marks a day in which a number of significant events in history have occurred. From World War I to the American-affected suffrage movement, just to name a few, November 17th is a day of major historical events, each making an impressive impact in the fabric of our world's history. World War I came to a conclusion on November 17, 1918. After the defeat of Germany in what was dubbed the War to End All Wars, peace negotiations took place with the Allies in France at the Enlightenment Palace, later to be known as the Treaty of Versailles. The treaty declared that Germany had to accept full responsibility for damages arising from the war, which included legalizing reparations, disarming militaries, revising boundaries, and being stripped of all its colonies. This war marked a turning point in global history and impacted the events that would soon follow, such as World War II. Another key event that took part on November 17 of 1918 was the Resolution of Medellin, which declared the existence of the United States of Colombia. On this day, the liberation of the current country Colombia was legitimized and the Republic of Colombia was born. This declaration enacted a series of reforms and changes that impacted the way of life within Colombia, from its taxation to its trade and industry. As we look closer to more recent history, November 17th also played a big role in the American suffrage movement. On this day, Massachusetts became the 11th state to give women the right to vote. This was a huge victory for the suffragists and was an important step in the fight towards gender equality. In 1929, the amendment of universal suffrage was enacted by giving the right women of all ages the right to vote in all states. This amendment was a powerful statement in the efforts of the suffrage movement that had also started a civil rights movement in the United States, which would later shape the country's society and politics. Moving into 2020, November 17th also can be likened to a definitive turning point in political history. This was the day that soon-to-be President Joe Biden, the former Vice President of the United States, was declared the winner of the 2020 presidential elections. This marked a major shift in the traditional ideals of modern-day America, and the impacts of this election reach far beyond to our perception of global politics in the 21st century. The accomplishments, changes, victories, and defeats that have taken place on this day in history have produced a powerful legacy that goes beyond the borders of the United States. November 17th is an incredibly significant day in history, and its importance can be appreciated and admired in a more personal and meaningful way. From World War I to the suffrage movement and more recently the 2020 presidential election, November 17th has marked a day for memorable and influential events in history, playing an extraordinary role in setting the actions and changes that have taken place in our world's past. As we continue to look to the future, it is important to look back and appreciate the impact that November 17th has had and the strength of its legacy.